Hi everyone! Thanks for visiting my channel. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Carol, the Thrifty Chic Housewife, and I'm so glad that you stopped by. I hope you will consider subscribing. In the description box below my video, I've left all of my social media links, so I would love for you to take a peek over there as well. So today we're going to be doing some holiday baking. We're going to be making some pecan pie bars. Pecan pie bars are fun and easy to make. They are great to have on hand for the holidays, and they are great for gift giving. So I thought I would share with you how I make them, and then maybe you will want to include them in your holiday festivities as well. So pecan pie bars are basically pecan pie in a bar cookie form. They're just they're easier to eat than pie, but it's the same flavor profile and they're really delicious. So we're gonna make a really nice shortbread crust to put our pecan pie filling on top of, and then we'll be using the traditional ingredients for our filling. Sugar, brown sugar, Karo corn syrup, butter, vanilla, and of course the star of the show, some chopped pecans. So we are going to start by making our crust, and the recipe that I'm going to be making is for a 9 by 13 inch pan. You can either use a 9 by 13 inch baking sheet is fine to use, or a 9 by 13 inch pan, kind of like this lasagna pan. I enjoy using this pan, and that's what I'm going to use today because it comes with a lid and it makes them easy to store. So I'm going to be using that pan, but you can use any 9 by 13 inch pan that you prefer. The other option you have too is to line your pan with some parchment paper. With the glass baking dish, I don't find the need to do that. They seem to come out just fine. I'm just going to spray my pan with a little bit of cooking spray before I put my crust in the bottom of it. So I'm going to bring you in close and we're going to get started on the crust. Okay, so we're going to get started, like I said, on our crust. We need 1 1/4 cups of butter softened to room temperature. That's 2½ sticks. You can use your stand mixer or you can do this by hand. Either way is fine. To our butter, we are going to add 1/4 cup of plain white granulated sugar. We're going to start that on low, and we're just going to cream our butter and our sugar together for about 3 minutes until it gets nice and light and fluffy, and it'll lighten up in color for a little bit. So I always start on low and then go ahead and increase your speed to about a medium. Okay, once your sugar and butter are creamed together and you can tell that it's lightened up in color some, we want to go ahead and add 2 eggs. And we're going to add about 2 teaspoons of pure vanilla extract. I'm going to use my own homemade vanilla extract. If you're not doing that, I highly encourage you to give it a try, and I will leave a link for you on how I make mine. So we want to go ahead and mix that together as well, and we just want to let that go just until it's incorporated. Okay, make sure that you take the time to scrape down the sides of your bowl so everything is mixed together really well. Then what we need to do is we're going to add our dry ingredients to our wet ingredients. So I have 2½ cups of flour, just regular all-purpose flour here. To that, we are going to add 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder. And just a pinch of salt. And I just like to whisk that together. And then we are going to add our dry ingredients to our wet ingredients. And we're just going to mix that on low until everything is incorporated together. Okay, once your shortbread is well mixed, go ahead and scrape your beater off. Okay, make sure you have your oven preheated to 350 degrees, and then we're going to take our shortbread crust mixture and scoop it into our pan. Then I just like to flour my hands a little bit so that the shortbread doesn't stick too much to my hands, and you just want to spread that out into the bottom of your pan. If it gets too sticky, just flour your hand again. And try to get it as evenly as possible. Okay, once you have it patted out to your liking, you're going to put it in a preheated 350-degree oven for 10 to 15 minutes. You don't want it to start to brown yet, you just want it to set. So about 10 to 15 minutes, you'll have to use your own discretion on that, but we don't want it to brown at all. Okay guys, our crust is set. The way to basically tell that when it's ready is it should just start to look a little bit dry around your edges. But you don't want it browned at all. We just want it to be set. And you can also touch it with your finger and you can tell that it's starting to firm up. So that's what we're looking for. So now we are ready to make our delicious filling. So you need a medium-sized saucepan. Over medium heat, we are going to melt a cup of butter. And to our butter, we are going to add a cup and a half of packed brown sugar. You can use light or dark. It doesn't matter here. It's up to you. I'm going to use light. And we're also going to add a half a cup of corn syrup. I'm using dark corn syrup. I like the richness that it adds, but again, you can use light or dark. It's entirely up to you, just like with pecan pie. It's all preference. And we're just going to melt that all together, and we're going to bring it up to a low boil, and we're going to let it boil for 3 minutes. So you're going to want to keep an eye on it, stir it occasionally. Once it starts to boil, just leave it alone. I wouldn't do much stirring to it once it comes up to a boil, but until then you want to make sure your sugar is dissolved and your butter is all melted. So give it a nice stir every now and then. Make sure it's not burning on the bottom. Once it gets up to the boil, leave it alone. Let it boil for about 3 minutes. Okay guys, we are up to a boil, and we are going to let it boil like this for 3 minutes. If you need to, make sure you adjust your heat so that it's not boiling too vigorously for the 3 minutes. Okay guys, once your 3 minutes are up, you want to remove it from the heat. For me, that just means I have gas. That just means to turn my heat off. So I've turned my heat off. Once you are off the heat, you're going to add 2 tablespoons of heavy cream. And it's going to bubble like crazy. So be careful, you don't want to get burned. I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of vanilla. And again, it's going to bubble up. And then we're going to stir in 3½ cups of chopped pecans. Some people roast theirs. I don't toast them at all. I just use the raw pecans. You can buy them already chopped, or you can chop them yourself. That's up to you. Just make sure that they are fully coated with your yummy caramel that you've made. And then we're going to pour this over our shortbread. And then spread it out evenly, or as evenly as possible. Back into our 350-degree oven for about 30 minutes. Okay guys, we are back. I baked my bars for about 30 minutes. You'll just have to keep an eye on them. I recommend checking them at about the 25-minute mark. When you want your filling to be set, but when you move it back and forth, there should still be some movement. Not a lot of jiggling to where it looks really loose, but there should be some movement to your filling. So what we're gonna do now is you need to let them cool completely. I know it's so hard to wait, but they need to cool completely, and then I like to put them in the refrigerator for about an hour before I cut them so that you can get a really nice clean cut. So I'm gonna put mine on a cooling rack, let them cool for 2 hours, maybe refrigerate them if I have time. I do want to try to wrap up my video today. So anyway, I'm gonna let them cool. I'll bring you back and I will show you how delicious they are. Okay guys, we are back. In light of full disclosure, my bars have sat for about an hour, but I want to kind of wrap my video up, so I thought I would just go ahead and cut into them and just show them to you so we can get things finished here. So I did cut one so that you can see it, and it is kind of oozing a little bit, but they're just so delicious. If you let them cool fully, there's no oozing, and the filling sits perfectly on top of the shortbread, and they're just so pretty. Your favorite pie in the form of a cookie, and who would not want to eat that? Perfect for finger food, for get-togethers and parties. Hopefully you'll get to do that this year for Thanksgiving. But anyway, let's go ahead and give them a taste and see how we did. They're buttery, it's sticky, ooey gooey caramel in the center, and then you have the crunchy pecans. I know that some people pre-toast their pecans, but personally I don't see any need to do that. They toast up beautifully in the oven as they're baking, so if I can eliminate a step and it doesn't affect the quality, why not? So to toast or not to toast, that's entirely up to you. I don't think it needs it. You can tell that they're still nice and crunchy. So perfect. The crust is not too sweet. You have a lot of sweetness in the filling, so I cut back on the sugar quite a bit, just enough that it's just a nice flavor that complements the filling really well. Just super delicious, and like I said, perfect for the holidays, and they are great for gift giving. I do want to just give you a little warning, if you will. You don't want to overbake them. If you take them too far, then the filling, instead of being a chewy texture and more caramely, it becomes harder and harder to eat. So try to stay at your 30 minutes, 25 to 30 minutes, and you'll have a perfect cookie bar. So there's that. Lots of options with light and dark Karo corn syrup, light and dark brown sugar. So options for you. You can add more vanilla, you can add less vanilla, you can leave that vanilla out altogether. But anyway, it's great. If you would like to elevate this even more, you can, once they're completely cool, you can dip them in melted chocolate and let the chocolate set up. Fantastic. I don't do that anymore because my family tends to like it as is. My husband's motto is, if it isn't broken, don't fix it. So they like it as is, but if you'd like to elevate them and make them pretty for gift giving, if you dip half of the bar in chocolate, it's a beautiful presentation. So just a little tip there. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed coming along with me today, guys. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to leave them for me in the comment section. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and I will see you next time. Have a great day.